your HP high, so you need to bring like double tangos to lane sort of situation,
right?
Right?
Get pulled maybe.
Yeah.
And they have to. He has to worry about Sunstrike, which is going to be even more problematic for him. Invoker, I also like the Cold Snap versus Timbersaw. Cold Snap is just really good at making sure that he isn't able to get away. The OD ban. OD ban is likely like they don't want a core that can save people. Like we've seen defensive Astrals just completely ruin team fights for some teams, and I think Wings is one of those teams that just like, okay, someone gets hit by air, they want to be rewarded for that, and the OD save is just, I think a lot of people just actually just deem it overpowered. It lasting so long on allies and enemies and it being such a short cooldown.
I mean, I'm not sure if there's any other core that has like that hard of a saving mechanism.
Exactly.
You know, like you do Vengeful Spirit core, but there's downsides to it, right? OD is just like a strong scaling core that also gives you a save. Nyx Assassin for Wings is going to be paired up with a Shadow Demon as a support here, or do you think this is going to be a core Nyx and a core Timbersaw?
I would suspect it's usually Blink that plays the Mirana. I actually don't think I've seen them run other ones. I'm sure they could have play like on Ice Ice or something like that.
Anti-mage.
But I am actually not sure. I would say Nyx support at this point.
Yeah. There is still the possibility, right, of like a safe lane Timbersaw and a Nyx Assassin off lane or something like that. That was actually what I was. Do you think that's possible, or do you still stick with the Nyx Assassin support with Shadow Demon?
I think support. I mean, Shadow plays some weird heroes, but he doesn't play these type of weird heroes. He plays like Necrophos and like Safe Lane Void and that kind of stuff that's like weird but makes sense. And I think.
Did you see their? They played a Shadow Axe game earlier. Earlier today.
That's a little weird.
You know, another good example of a weird sort of Shadow situation. Bounty Hunter is going to be banned away against LFY. LFY is one of the heroes that really likes to abuse Vision Game quite a bit. So Invis heroes early on into their career was something that they tried to utilize, and teams very frequently started banning against them. We're going to see that continued here as a 4 position is still required.
Okay.
What?
Yeah, nothing. Bounty Hunter.
10 seconds.
Oh,
it's like you just had this.
Oh, no, I know. It's because IG Vitality, they really like Bounty Hunter and Riki. So my one for them was I've got Vision. Okay, Leshrac.
Leshrac support with the Rubik. I mean, these are the exact same combos, right? These, if we presume Nyx Assassin is support, they're both hard to land stuns set up with a 5 position that sets you up for that stun and is more defensive in nature.
However, Leshrac gets generally just destroyed by Leshrac. Or, sorry, by Nyx.
Yes.
Like, Nyx. Whenever you see a Nyx game, you just want to pick heroes that are able to survive. Like, I think Rubik's pretty good because he doesn't get owned by the carapace, and he also has magic resistance, and he has a very short cast point. Like, if you're really quick, you can even do it out of Vendetta before he stuns.
Vendetta hits you, and he tries to get that stun, and
but Leshrac is like, it just seems like it could be a liability this game, although something that they could do, which I've seen them do a lot, is because Xiao 8 likes helping out Yao. I think someone had mentioned like Xiao 8 wants to win a TI with Yao, and like that's kind of what, because Xiao 8's already won one. So what's his drive is to help out Yao, and I think that's even the same in game. I think that they might do a Sand King Leshrac off lane together,
right,
and then do DDC on the Rubik and. Go on from there.
And a strong dual lane scenario, like they already have the Animage versus the Timbersaw, right? So you already have a matchup that you can't necessarily stop the Timbersaw from being in lane and getting farmed, but he's also not going to threaten you, right? Animage can be left alone in that lane at some point in time once you burn through the Timbersaw's mana and be pretty happy with how the lane's going to go trading farm. So they could very easily try and threaten whatever Wings is going to be running as their safe lane, which you've got 10 seconds to determine. So very clearly, I think they're feeling a bit threatened and trying to figure out what should they do against a potential aggro duel or even tri-lane.
Yeah, Clinks. That's what I like. I was like,
man, hey, it's an Ice Ice
Mirana. Okay,
Ice Ice Mirana.
So they changed it up.
Man, the moment I saw Mirana, normally I like to talk about, it could be a support. And I was just like, nah, it's Blink.
I remember looking at it for, because I analyzed a lot of their drafts before TI, and I don't think I saw them one game run Mirana as an off lane. It's the same thing as Void too. Void, they never ran off lane, always safe lane with Shadow. So things change, and that is a good thing. You always want to be unpredictable, but Clinks, I think, is a very great pick here because their lineup just lacks physical damage. Like, just
Yes.
they lack physical damage and they lack roach potential, and Clinks is really good at both of those. I guess Ursa also could have worked for them, but you know, Ursa just didn't really. It was banned out firstly, and clearly they didn't want it. But Clinks, I really like here. He also like makes Rubik like hate his life.
Yeah.
If you get decent amount of farm.
Ursa also wouldn't be a tower pusher, right?
Yes.
Like he
Oh,
provides
yeah,
physical
he hits
damage.
towers.
Clinks very clearly is a tower pusher, and you needed that. Unless you were going to run a hard carry potentially into a Sand King, Leshrac, or even a Rubik aggro tri-lane, in which case you're feeling that pressure early on. You're not going to be outscaling the Animage, so they need to try and end this game early, right?
Let's get my predictions.
All right.
Off
Ben
with
Wu.
your head.
What are the predictions? Total number of smoke ganks.
It's usually 0 to 1. I think
Well, we're going to have one right now, so if there's a kill that comes out of this,
Oh yeah,
we're going to say 2 right now. The arrow's going to come out, will land onto ZYF. They're going to be able to get a lot of damage onto him, but he has a blink up in a second here, and will be able to get himself away. Nice double stun, though. Yao's going to be the next target. He's already dropped pretty low. They will be able to finish him off. The Whirling Death just cuts down that strength hero down the sides. He'll get a good stun and manage to get the kill in return onto Blink, but now a lot of damage onto Faith Beyond. Lines up the stun again onto Zhao Wei. They'll be able to take a second kill. Faith Beyond tries to take to the trees, hide himself away. Healing Salve and a Disruption is going to be able to save his life. A 2-for-1 exchange with Wings also picking up the first blood. Wings come very clearly out on top in that engagement.
Yeah.
So we already have one on the board, right, Ben?
I'll go with 2. 2 Wings, Shadow. Quickly! You lost.
I mean, I just throw it down.
Yeah, okay.
I literally just picked anything.
I mean, it's better than picking nothing.
I'm set against you. Oh, no, I didn't even get this one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, I did. Your pick. LFY.
Okay.
So I'm against you on this one, apparently. I'm siding with LFY all the way.
You're clearly biased.
It was my subconscious kicking in, you know, under pressure, under 3 seconds. Well, Super's going to have to TP back to lane here, already off to a bad start. Is this purely the Quas? Do you think this is going to be a Quas Wex game, or is it the
Super? Super is very well known for his Quas Wex. Way more over Quas Wex. I always see the games I've seen him play. It's 80-20 plus Quas Wex. So it leads me to believe Quas Wex. Is it better here though? Yeah, they have anti-mage. You can easily go Quas Wex.
Yeah. It's kind of a shame that you're going to miss out on potential Sunstrike kills thanks to Sand King and Rubik setting him up. But
it is not a shame if you've seen Super's Quas Wex.
Oh,
This
yes.
is one of the best.
I completely agree with that.
That's actually the hero I first saw him on. That I thought that he was really good when he was on PG. He played DK.
Yeah. You stuck around too long, my friend. They thought they could actually kill Innocence, but instead it's going to be the other way around. Yao turns and fights. He's got a Burrow Strike up. He may have to use it here. No, he's good. Fairy Fire. He will stay alive. Manages to force some regen out of Y. He's actually going to be dropping pretty low here. Ice Ice is also going to be running low on regen. So this dual lane can actually bully the supports out right now.
Not if he suicide and mutes.
That is also true. The great fun of this patch. Well, you can't suicide to neutrals if you can't get there in time. Innocence is going to be caught here and taken down by the right clicks. Yao will be the one to pick up that kill. Ice Ice sets himself up for the 2-minute rune.
Nice play by Xiaowei. He's making the support Leshrac work. It's not easy to make work. And yeah, doing a lot of damage. Making these supports work to keep their safe lane secure and making sure that Yao gets his levels. He's level 3 at the moment, despite that brawl prior to the Horn.
We're going to see Zhao Wei deny himself, but in the meantime, he is going to be leaving Sand King all by his lonesome. He doesn't actually have the mana to be able to Burrow Strike up, and Arrow's going to come and nails him. Ice Ice showing off his support, Mirana.
Got him good.
Got him real good. How's Faith Beyond doing? He's the off-lane Nyx Assassin against a Rubik and Animage.
Perfectly okay.
Yeah. He just wants levels, right? And Nyx Assassin is definitely a hero, an off-laner that
he wants
does
to be
not...
able to pull.
Yeah.
I think is the most important thing. Like it's a given that he's going to get levels. It's more of a question of whether or not he's going to.
Nice idea here. LFY, they rotate Zhao Wei up to the top lane to punish Faith Beyond as he tries to push up against DDC, and it looks like they should be able to get this kill. Faith Bolt is being held on to. They just need a couple more right clicks. ZYF Can blink in a second. He mangoes, TP's out. Oh god, he's gonna dodge all of it until the right click comes in.
Ooh.
They still managed to get that kill.
That was really close.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I think that's okay for Wings because they're leaving Yao out alone, who could potentially easily die to the Shadow Demon Mirana. Ice Ice decided to, I believe, take the long way back home and did not die to Newts for the mana regen.
Which means Yao was able to get a pull off.
Yeah,
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, the Deny thing, he also maybe could have been able to TP top, let's say, to help them out, to help actually keep them with it. But they could have pressured Yao a little bit more, as you mentioned.
How are you feeling about this this LFY team with stand-ins, by the way? Obviously, you're never going to feel real confident, say, like, oh, they're a better team because they have these players. Everyone knows that synergy is important. But are you more comfortable than most other stand-ins situations that we've seen before? Right, they got some pretty good players on their team.
Yeah, I think they actually should have been able to do better in the China qualifier. So I don't know. It's kind of a toss-up. I think most of the qualifier teams from China as well as LFY are very similar, and if the other two deserve to be here, I think that they are kind of the runner-up and a very close runner-up, like 95% close.
Yeah, leave the things off here on the Shadow Demon. They're going to be able to get that stun. Follow-up arrow is going to land on a Yao. Looks like they can actually trade off kills here. Yao is definitely done for, and the Shadow Demon still managed to get out. Zhao 8 is going to be chased away by Shadow with that heavy right-click damage combined with the Shadow Demon's Soul Catcher. We're seeing this build all the time now on Shadow Demons, especially coupled up with the Mirana. It makes a lot of sense, but with Shadow Poison receiving the nerfs that it did, a lot more Shadow Demons are putting value in early levels of Soul Catcher.
Yeah, Yao is becoming a liability very, very soon. Like, Xiao 8 has done, like, all that he could in the early game. Like, he had that 4-man stun on the hill, like, he got that kill on the Shadow Demon, and still, like, Yao's in a position of, like, he still needs help, which is never good as a Senki. Like, you don't really want to force your supports to constantly park themselves down there, because now Nyx is getting a lot of levels, and then Xiao 8, like, got another kill on top, and still, it's like, okay, Senki, like, he still doesn't feel safe at all. Like, he can easily still die at any time, and maybe the call has been to, you know, if you die, whatever, we just want you in lane so the supports don't ruin our Invoker's life. Especially because he doesn't have the force to want the arrow, but it's just rough for LGD forever young in this early game. You want as much space created for the anti-wings as possible, and right now it's only Xiao 8 doing it.
Yeah. Oh. Rotation across. Shadow is going to be a target here. Nice disruption there from Innocence. Perfectly timed. Dodges the stun.
There's no way they would have killed him.
Yeah, for sure. Death Pact. As soon as, like, ganking a Clinks is so timing focused. It's like ganking an Alchemist, right? If he has his ultimate up, it's just like, it's a bad time. You wait for that to go away.
Or you just need a lot more people.
Yeah.
I think it's better to just limit his farm at this point in time, which is also a good idea. However, Sand King doesn't have that much regen. He doesn't have a Clarity, he doesn't have a Mango, he doesn't have Arcanes, and his partner doesn't have Arcanes.
Yeah,
they need to make each of these stuns count.
Should be a fairly easy kill. Most Innocents can do is
they're all coming in.
A second here, and maybe that second can actually allow them to be able to get a return kill. Zhao 8 is going to be cut off here by Blink. Denies him from being able to run to the river. Ice is also nearby without the extra ice. Shadow starts going on the super here, but he is going to be EMP'd up. Thankfully, he's very tanky to the Death Pact, and they managed to catch him with the Chakram towards the end. Super ends up going down. So that extra second or two from the Shadow Demon disrupting himself does actually help buy them a return kill. Maybe on not what they were expecting, though. Super, very valuable kill on the Invoker, ends up dying.
And they managed to pop down a very deep Observer War inside of Forever Young. So even if it's a 1-for-1, maybe slightly not the most in your favor, getting that war down is pretty important so you can scout out the Quintus movements.
Right. He's a hero that can abandon his safe lane pretty quickly, right? Spend time in his own jungle or even the enemy jungle, as we've seen. I'm reminded by Eternal Envy's Klink's play, how he always, as soon as he picked up level 6, would go into the enemy jungle and just kind of park his butt there.
I wonder what item he's going for. He has 1,800 gold.
Yeah.
So he's actually going for the older build, not the max Not the max minus armor build.
Yeah, with Desolator. Faith Beyond, a little bit of trouble. Thankfully, the cold snap is worn off, but never mind. House on the other side. He just right-clicks them, and that will be good enough. In the meantime, though, a much more important kill. Animage. He ends up going down to the top lane. Wings rotate both supports, manage to get that kill. Animage's farm being slowed down.
This is very important. This is a real big turn in the game plan decision. There's two ways to tackle the anti-mage. One is trade farm, and you take down Roche because Quince is really good at doing that, and you fight the AM late game. And the other is to pressure him now, keep him weak, and slow down his Battle Fury and just keep killing him after that because you want to slow down his Manta, and then you get the Orchid and keep killing him.
Right.
So I wouldn't say there's like a right or a wrong way. It depends on the team, and their plan is to pressure the AM before he gets Manta style. So they're invading their top area, and as soon as the Clink gets his Orchid, it's going to be turned up a notch.
Double counter ward, as well as Dust is going to be able to spot out Faith Beyond as he tries to use the Vendetta to escape. He's going to be slowed down a bit, and thanks to the Spike Carapace, it looks like he might be okay. The Dust is just about to wear out. He gets a nice 3-man stun, but unfortunately Disruption also laid out. He'll be taken out by the ultimate as well as a combination of DDC. Managed to get the Fate Bolt out. Blink comes in, swoops in for the support kill, and now looks to chase for more. Into the tier 1 tower. Yao's going to be the target here. Gets perched up, dodges the arrow with a Burrow Strike and a stun onto Blink, but he will still end up going down, and Wings will translate that action into some pushing power onto this tier 1 tower. Big benefit of having a Clinks on your team.
It's going to be super slow. Clinks actually does not have his Orchid yet, so nor does he have a Blight still.
Yeah.
So I don't think this tower's going to die. Yao's pretty much up, and this will buy time for Anti-Mage to farm another lane. He's already moved to the mid lane, and he has a TP up, so he could kind of...
Oh dear. Well, if they automatically lose DDC, it becomes a whole lot easier. LFY now going to have to take on a 4 versus 5. They try and go into Shadow, but EMP is dodged there thanks to the disruption. They go into Blink instead, but he's relatively tanky. 2 levels of the armor is going to help him out just enough. LFY are going to be forced back again underneath their tier 1 tower. The longer they hold, the more time they're buying for this Animage as he's pushing out bottom.
It's technically worth it for your Rubik to sacrifice himself to save the tower.
And by time,
So it kind of looked like it was just a feed, but he probably saw the arrow coming, and he TP'd in a very aggressive position and probably expected to die there or get covered by EMP Tornado or whatever maybe that LFY had to offer at the time. But yeah, they're really slowing down the Clink this farm too, because Clink, he TP'd up there, didn't really get that much out of it, didn't get a tower, all he got was a Sand King kill for like, a minute and a half, 2 minutes plus worth of work. And his Orchid could have come out maybe already, I would say, if he were just parked on bottom and pressured the T1 by himself. But they thought that there would be a larger engagement on top.
who do you think's decision was it? Just sort of snap decision. The
For
Desolator
Shadow?
versus the
Oh,
Orchid,
I
right? Because
think-
they're two different styles you're talking about, right?
I'm not sure.
You have to play more gank heavy to make sure that Manta doesn't counter the Orchid, right? In some ways, it puts you more pressure.
Yeah,
Less
it
pressure to
definitely
take
does.
objectives, but more pressure to keep the AM down.
But Wings is a high risk, high reward team.
True.
Right, we've seen that a lot.
And they always play more kill heavy than they do objectives, right?
I think you
So-
also learn a lot more from doing this sort of risky play because I think because it's so execution based, you could have always played better. Whereas if you go the other way, you're like, oh, maybe it was just the wrong decision. It's very hard to like squeak out maybe like 100 more GPM. That's a lot to ask for. But
They leave 2 in mid. They're going to actually make a Moonlight Shadow rotation with their 2 supports, catch them from behind, and now the TP's come in after they've already taken down one of the supports, nailed the super with the arrow. The Invoker's going to end up going down as well. Nice rotation there. That very clearly caught LFY by complete surprise as they were showing 2 cores in mid lane while they took down that tier 1 tower, and 2 supports, thanks to Moonlight Shadow, set up the fight at top lane.
they're venturing out way too far. I think as soon as you see the Oblivion staff on Wings, like their game plan should become more apparent as to what Wings are going to do. In reaction, they should do what they did before, but not extend past that T1 tower. They're like pretty good, welled up at the T1 tower, and the Orchid already come out. Anti-Mage, will he die? No, he will not. But that has to be a grimace coming out from End as he shrugs off the Orchid. and
Yeah,
tries
he's thinking,
to farm up his Battle Fury.
I
he
don't
knows
even have
he's in
Battle
a bad
Fury yet.
Yeah, he knows he's in a really bad spot.
Guys, what happened? Super does see this one thanks to the counter ward, so they might just be able to cage Faith Beyond. The arrow's going to come in. Nicely sidestepped there by Super, but now he's going to be orchided up. He should be okay. No big nuke damage is coming in anytime soon. Faith Beyond barely survived through all of that. In the meantime, Wings did take the tier 1 tower at top lane with the duo of Shadow Demon and Timbersaw.
So more items need to come out. The Clinks needs, I would say, a Blightstone, bare minimum, just because he's so physical damage based. Maybe could have gotten the kill on AM with that. They also need the Blink Dagger on the Sand King. He had a rough start. It continues to be rough. No Iron Talons halfway to his Blink Dagger. And then Invoker just needs any sort of item. Orchid is the go-to. Midas occasionally, which it looks like what he's going for right now because they know that they need this.
This is a very important kill. Shadow gets caught by the counter ward as he tries to do something by himself solo, but gets caught and actually gives away a very important ability as well. DDC actually stole Skeleton Walk, which is not just great escape mechanism, but also can potentially set up team fights, get a lot of information. Valuable ability for DDC to be able to pick up, especially since he's got Arcane Boots too. So he's even got the sustain to be able to just stay out in the map constantly.
Now I think Wings are pressed with the decision. What do we want to do? Now they've taken back control of their jungle, and the anti-mage is going to farm his Battle Fury at this rate if they don't do anything about it. So do they want to trade farm again? Do they want a few more items in the Clinks like treads or whatever it may be? Or do they want to pressure that really, really hard with this Rubik scouting them out? It could be a big waste of time.
A pick off on Shadow due to his over-aggression turns into almost a kill on the Timbersaw. Fortunately, the disruption will buy so much time they just blow up the Sand King again, showing off that Whirling Death and how powerful it is against strength heroes.
Yao has just all these arrows thrown up.
Super will ensure there is no TP in, and henceforth no deny on the tower either.
Again, Shadow, the rest of Wings go the more aggressive route, which is taking control of their jungle. They're going to bring everyone over there instead of trying to trade farms. So you can see like the decisions made by them over and over again is to go the more aggressive route, take as much control as they can because they can.
Got him. Faith Beyond, it gives them the walk away. Leshrac ends up going down due to the Chakram.
Radiant's top tower is under
Sand King,
attack.
yeah, was almost there. God, he needs it too, because this Nyx's house, and you want to compare offlaners right now. Faith Beyond, thanks to the fact that he's a hero that just simply doesn't need that item and come online a lot sooner. He's got a lot more impact in being able to shut down the enemy cores.
Yeah, the Sand King has just died in every time he wants to go in, and I think that Y is playing amazingly well. Like his defensive disruptions have just been incredibly good. And the thing about defensive disruptions is that like you have to be there before the fight starts. So he like predicts these movements from Shadow and DDC see each other.
Counter ward for a counter ward. They're going to bait out Shadow a little bit as he goes for the counter ward himself, tries to go for the Orchid on DDC. Innocence is ready to go at any point in time to disrupt, but it's just not necessary. They're going to get the kill on Yao, and disrupt on DDC will allow them to be able to pick up that extra kill on the side, and EMP will keep the rest of Wings from surging forward and catching any more members of LFY. But again, Wings choosing the aggressive option, opting to fight and bait out whenever possible.
One of the reasons why Wings is thought is so formidable is because they read the opponent's movements very, very well. Like, they had 5 people there, and you'll be like, yeah, they lost that fight. But they had 5 people there. They were ready for LFY to make the movement with the aggressive skeleton walk. They were prepared with sentries. They even had a dust on the Mirana, too, just to make sure that LFY couldn't really make the moves that they wanted to do. They know that the other 4 are going to try and create space for the AM, either just stalling pushes or making aggressive movers, picking one off and then getting out. And they already got the kill on Clinks. They thought they could get greedy and get a little bit more, but instead, now they've kind of relinquished hold of the enemy jungle and can only farm their own. And again, Yao dies again.
Yeah. A 17-minute Battle Fury, that's what we're looking at right now for ZYF. So he's got it. It's a bit late, and he's still really, like, he still has this whole entire period of time where he's trying to build Manta, but he's super susceptible to the Orchid the whole entire time.
They're
so
smoking.
LFY got to create some space for him in the next 5 to 8 minutes. And this smoke is going to be the first start. They saw Shadow farming up that top lane. The smoke is popped. They get the dust out, but the problem is this hero, even after it gets dusted, is still so fast thanks to the 4 levels of Skeleton Walk. They're not going to be able to catch him. Super throws out the Tornado. Fortunately, a wand from Innocence, even through the EMP, will allow him to throw out the Disruption, catching Super. An Orchid goes down, but they do not have any follow-up disables until Faith Beyond's on the other side. He hits the stun, easily cleans up the Invoker. DDC lies in wait, but unfortunately, he did not have the Skeleton Walk before this, so I think it timed out or maybe he died. He wasn't able to set up that gank on Shadow like they really wanted.
Yeah, he had died.
Yeah, so unfortunately that smoke is just always going to be hard, right?
With the Clink's read it well, though. He didn't go straight right into the secret shop. He went down so that if the smoke popped, he would be at very high range. He was at like 800 range, let's say. If he went to the right, he would be at like 200 range. They easily chase him down with a lift into whatever they had. But the Rubik wasn't in range of lift, and by the time he was, the fight was too close to Wings' T2. Right, and now Wings with another aggressive maneuver. DDC will pop the smoke, but now Mirana is out of detection. No sentries, no dust. DDC, wow. He's in deep.
He's just trying to see if he can stall up that Mirana. Not going to happen. Moonlight Shadow thrown down. Faith Beyond spotting out a lot of these heroes. The Vendetta, he's going to go on the Super first. Orchid goes out just a little bit too late, but it doesn't matter. They'll still manage to get Super, and Yao is going to be forced back. Zhao Wei actually trying to clear through the creep wave, but Faith Beyond jumps into him with the Spike Carapace ready to go. That stalls up his retreat, almost allowing Blink to be able to catch him. Nice telekinesis back by our Rubik. Ice, whose body is thrown into multiple members of Wings, stalling up their aggressive move. They're still going to try and peck away at this tier 2 tower with the Clinks. DYF, though, he just sees this as more time for his Manta.
Yeah, he's actually getting it. He's only, what, a little over 1,000 gold away?
I don't know if he had items stashed away, but I was like, 17-minute battlefield, and all of a sudden I click on him 18 minutes, and he has a Yasha already. So
yeah, that's what happens. And they've been keeping very good track of the Clinks because he's been farming in lane a lot, so that just invites Anti-Mage to farm wherever he wants. And let's see, Nexus actually has a Blink Dagger too, so he's getting there in terms of farm. We still haven't really seen any huge plays out of Yao yet. That may change now that he can Epi and Blink.
Do you think in some ways that,
I'll take your
because if you look at their setup, right, they've got 2 heroes, the Timbersaw as well as the Mirana on a 4 position, that are able to spam out waves. Do you think Shadow needs to be showing himself in lane as much? You just said him showing in lane is allowing the Anti-Mage to feel more confident in farming and that sort of thing.
No, he shouldn't, but it's not really his fault. I always say that other people need to be able to push over lanes, and Blink has gone for the BOTs, so now he can fulfill that role where, I mean, Shadow also needs more farm because he spent so much time on top.
Yeah.
He's doing very well in that work.
And wave clear, there's 2 sides to the story, right? LFY are also doing a really good job of pushing out the waves and forcing it, so Shadow, even though he doesn't want to, has to actually stop some of these pushes. And
definitely.
And that's on Zhao Wei, right? He's doing a great job just spamming out waves so much. Yao's going to be caught, though. Yao is going to be done so as the arrow nails him once again. This guy just seems to be a target dummy every single time. Just arrows lined up, 18-7, 21 minutes in. At least he's got his Blink Dagger, so he has that big initiating tool, but Wings are definitely taking advantage of these positioning errors.
Ooh, Sentry Ward drop. Faith Beyond will go up towards the high ground, where there are more sentries, but no heroes involved. Or is he going to walk into this trap?
Maybe he will. Stun goes out. They are going to be able to combo it up. No Spike Carapace just yet, but the arrow's going to come in. Now the Spike Carapace goes down, and DDC, he's actually maybe going to be popped as well. The Leshrac, nailed by the arrow, had no hope whatsoever. Blink forward. Nice turnaround. DDC managed to get the stun out that's stolen from the Nyx Assassin to keep him alive. And again, it's just all this kind of action, right? The more you can delay these kills, make sure that Wings don't pick up too much. Anti-Mage is getting more and more space to farm. Wings have taken almost all the outer objectives, though, and they just now pick up the Desolator.
That's demoralizing.
Yeah, it kind of is. The fact that he didn't go Desolator, and they still have every single tower except this top tier 2 by 20 minutes.
And they laid a trap for the Nyx, and it ended up that one of their heroes died.
Yeah.
That's even more depressing.
I mean, I feel like that in some ways, LFY keep kind of doing that, right? They went on the Nyx Assassin in this area, right? Just 2 heroes. They did it with Yao and...
that was... they went on Shadow.
Yeah, right. They went on Shadow. But again, it was like kind of a two-hero combo that they tried to do.
Yeah.
Wings are always bringing all their heroes to the fight.
Yeah. That leaves the opportunity for them to be able to be split push. From their opponent. And they're always true that that's generally the response. But they're not fully committed to split pushing. They're still trying to make plays happen as forward, despite Invoker, like, let's say, not having the Ghost Walk into Orchid combo that can solo pick people. He went for more of a team fight build, I would say, with the 4-staff. So it's too little really happening from their team. And I think, yeah, I mean, it's not that bad though, because Anti-Mage hasn't died in a very, very long time.
Yeah, I mean, they're playing this style for a reason, right? They're kind of playing a bit aggressive. They're trying to play, you know, where Wings can't just run all over the map and do what they want. They set up these opportunities. They set up the chances to be able to go on a hero.
Yeah,
defensive and it just draws
predictable.
attention away from AM.
A little bit late on the 4-staff there, but it does push him uphill in time to dodge that last hit,
Radiant's middle tower is under
probably
attack.
would have killed him with the addition of the Orchid chick. Maybe.
How do they know? Is it this ward? Seems like Blink had some idea that there was going to be a Rubik AM combination onto him. They were trying to set up some sort of situation where they could get that invis.
Oh, Anti-Mage. They saw him TP.
That is... This is going to be real bad. He has the Manta, though, so Faith Beyond's going to have to try and get a stun out of Invis, and I'm not sure if they could burst him down. We'll see. They're actually going to set up with the Spike Carapace into the Battle Fury, but bam! LFY inflate a trap of their own. They tanked out both, and now the Timbersaw has entered into the fray. Fortunately, they got that Aegis, but a Clinks with an Aegis really doesn't amount to much. No death pack there, and he just gets taken apart by the magic damage. Fortunately, our Timbersaw is making a grand escape, but LFY just punished Wings so heavily, setting up that trap.
Yeah, Anti-Mage, I really like this play over there. He knows that if he's in the fog, it's very difficult for Nyx to hit him with a stun and Clinks to keep right-clicking him. So he kind of played in the trees a little bit, and then his senses went off and he backed up towards the tower where all his supports were in. Wings, it probably should have been more careful as soon as they saw him go into the secret shop, but high risk, high reward.
And now they're going to lose their last tier 1 tower. Mid tower gets taken out. This will open up certain things like ancient camps, a lot easier for Anti-Mage to be able to take up as he pushes down the mid lane.
He's becoming
Yeah, certainly.
Like, what do you want to go now on Clinks? You mentioned that, yeah, it's riskier if he goes for Orchid first, but they didn't get any kills on the Anti-Mage with the Orchid. So I wouldn't say that it didn't pay off for him, but it probably didn't come out to the best of outcomes for him. So now what does he want to do? Does he want to go for a Scythe so he can double down on killing the Anti-Mage, or does he want to go for, let's say, BKB so that he can take team fights?
Let's hope he doesn't go Scythe. At least he better choose not to go to Scythe once Anti-Mage reveals that he has this Lincoln.
It's not that bad. He can just like Orchid into Scythe or Scythe into...
oh, you're right, you're right.
He wants to be able to kill the Anti-Mage, and they actually don't have that great of setup. Like, Nyx Assassin can maybe do it, but it's always a maybe because Anti-Mage has fast recall and Blink.
And eventually this Orchid will turn into a Bloodthorn as well, so if you're using that to just proc the Lincolns, right, you're missing out on a large share of your damage.
But you have to side them. Because
yeah, but you gotta do that.
Yeah.
Because the Manta.
And you can, it'll set up offensive disruptor too, which is very important because Anti-Mage illusions are by far the best illusions in this game.
For staff, for Yao. So now he's got an extra potential defensive item. Xiao 8 has the Ghost Scepter, and we're going to start building into the Aghanims for Super. But as you said, he kind of took the team fight first focus and didn't try and be that AFK farming Invoker that only comes online by 16 minutes. Or level 16, rather. Excuse me.
So now they are trying to Moonlight Shadow deep inside their own base so they don't get caught by Invisible Ward. They have the gem now on Ice, and looks like Roshan #2 wants to be their prize after they deward this area. So they're already thinking ahead, already setting up for Roshan, making sure that Anti-Mage is strong enough to put them there and solo it with a little bit of help. I guess that's not really soloing, but kind of.
The solo +1.
Solo. solo air quotes.
Really, you just want somebody to tank Roshan. The right clicks, right?
Or just stun
Bashes.
constantly. Or
Yeah.
get an alacrity on yourself, or carry up lads and be near you. Like any of those are, I would consider
Acceptable.
like, yeah, they're like solo.
Mix assassin. Trying to set up this this stun. He's going to go for the Vendetta. Still managed to hit the stun after the Manta. DYF is going to be caught a bit here, but he's still able to get his blink away. They just do not have the lockdown. The Ult Scepter goes down. They're going to try and lead this into another stun, but fortunately Impale isn't up just yet. They're just trying to slow down his retreat, and they do hit the Impale now, which means DYF will take it out by the pure damage of Blink. Wings finally put a stop to this split pushing anti-mage, but at the same time, LFY is still getting good control of the map. They're pushing out with 3 heroes mid. Super's recovering this bottom lane that was pushed in. He will soon, very soon, have an Aghanim Scepter. And again, look at that. Like Wings, they had a possibility to take an objective, that tier 2 at the top lane,
Radiant's
but
middle
they're
tower
going to
is
wrap
under
down
attack.
a bit with some of these heroes, control the mid lane, do a little bit of hunting here.
You want to take this time to deward.
Yeah.
You can take a tower down, but it's much better. Like, if you deward now, you can probably take a tower down and then some. Whereas, if you don't do it now, you might not be able to deward because LFY would have respawned by then. So, he's trying to get one, and I don't think he's going to get any wards.
Dire's top tower is under
Mary
attack.
jaunts around the map.
Disruption pushing, a classic. Wings circle right back up, knowing that a little bit of LFY had rotated top. Maybe see if they can actually pick off Shadow, stop that push. But no opportunity will be given. This will allow our Clinks to be able to finish up BKB, which is rather important. He still has a combination of stuns that are rather fast between the Sand King and the Rubik Telekinesis that can catch him out, keep him chain stunned. But for the most part, this BKB will be a big boon for Wings in team fights. But are they going to get these team fights? They're always trying to recover this this pushing power that's coming out from LFY, where they just clear these creep waves.
I think they have enough. Because they just killed the AM, that kind of signifies that, hey, we can kill anti-mage without any additional items. So that means that I think they're going to force LFY to try and keep fight very soon, because the split push game isn't necessarily working out for them, because they're going to lose Roche because they can't push out the lanes and they've lost anti-mage. It's also a signal by the Clinks too, because Clinks, I see this question a lot. It's like, why do pros hold on to so much gold? And it's because they're not actually sure what to get, because you got to see how the game progresses. If they don't have enough disable to kill the anti-mage, you go for sight. If you want more team fight, you go for BKB, and it wasn't really clear before that whether or not they could have killed the anti-mage. And with that one on the left side, it's a statement, hey, we don't really need it. We have a lot of pure damage with Timbersol, a lot of lockdown, especially if we can hit an arrow, or if he mantas prematurely, and that they can just go for a team fight and force this engagement.
They have the gem onto Yao. They've already spotted Shadow. They aren't going to be able to leave with a stun off on him. DYF tried to actually jump forward, but at the same time, Yao jumped backwards. They didn't have the vision. He gets 0 right clicks off on Shadow. Now Shadow's popped his BKB, goes straight for DYF, and they will be able to execute him. Zhao Wei looks like he got nailed by an arrow, but they're trying to take more of these heroes in the mid lane. Ice Ice under the attempt of a Chakram from Rubik's actually a successful one. He managed to get that kill. 1 for 2, but Wings ready to push high ground. They've lost their support Miranda. They don't give a damn about her. They're going to be having Faith Beyond act as a big old turret with his gem sitting on the front lines. And, okay, force tapped it backwards rather than forwards. And our Clinks is going to be the big damage dealer. I like that play. Faith Beyond, I think, it made himself face backwards so he wouldn't be force staffed into a situation he didn't want to be in. Exactly. Now to tier 3. Be chipped away, 35 seconds. Oh no, Super's going to be caught. This could potentially turn into so much more if Wings get the appropriate pickoffs. A big epicenter comes through, but it's just not quite enough. Both Faith Beyond as well as Blink will both survive, and Yao is the one to go down. They could have fought in 20 seconds when the Animage was coming back up, but they've just lost Super as well as Yao. And without those two cores for another 45 seconds, Wings will continue on their push. They're going to go for the bottom lane next.
Faith has just been ridiculous. He is one of the best offlane players. There's just such a big contrast between him and Yao this game.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't need help on top. and he's still able to come out like almost double of Yao's net worth and still have just much more effective plays with the pink deck. Whereas Yao got his pink deck a little bit late, and even when he got it, he still couldn't really do that much. He hesitated a lot with the pink out instead of actually going in that last fight, which I think really cost him. He was scared of CKB, to be fair, but sometimes you just gotta go and die. Yeah, they didn't even put up a fighting chance in that last round.
Yeah, I mean, they just picked up that fresh Basher, a little bit of RNG, and you never know what could have happened, right? The Anti-Mage popped his Manta, wanted to go on Shadow, and Yao blinked himself away without that gem.
I like that Wings are so confident, though, in a lot of the plays that they made. The Orchid play, all sweeping top, they just read LFY very, very well, and completely shut out the AM. Like, I liked how they chained all their abilities on the left side when Anti-Mage was pushing the T2 to kill him. That was the moment. Like, I think everyone in the game knew that, okay, Wings are, if they can kill AM like that, I think they have the game.
Yeah. And Wings, sure enough, did. They take game number 1 in this best of 3 against LFY. This is the...
I like to point out that I see 4 incorrects on your screen.
Come on, dude.
I'm just kidding.
I spam clicked. It's not my fault.
I'm kidding.
You still got 2 wrong. Man, we
know.
were wrong on the smokes. 5 smoke king kills by 10 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know when like the timer is. Like,
yeah,
if you smoke and you kill them like a minute after, is that a kill? What about 45 seconds?
Did those
30?
first 3 kills of the game? Was that 3 kills?
I'm not sure.
It might have been.
Probably.
Right? It was 2 smokes into each other. Yeah. Anyway, guys, we are going to take a short break. We'll be back with game number 2, Wings and LFY.